Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's TV1's dating reality show, The One, episodes 8 and 9. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and you make sure to leave your questions and comments down below, and limited commercials to not ruin your flow. Kirk and Tammy can't believe it's the first night in the One mansion, and there was already a little drama. Also, I wonder if there were some after-hours hanky-panky going on when the lights went off. We shall see. Last night certainly was interesting. The next morning, someone to know what exactly happened. Brian explains that we were discussing privacy and going through someone's phone. Brent said if he saw another man calling his woman's phone, that he would just flip it over and ignore it, and I called him goofy for that. Ashley says to production that Brent's reaction last night with Brian made him seem very hostile, and I've never seen that side of Brent. Brian says to production that Brent tried to pin me as a guy who would go through a lady's phone, and I don't agree with going through anyone's phone. But the conversation was, if my lady has a man calling her and I don't know him, I'm gonna see who it is. That's just me. Or ask my lady what's going on. Not inquiring at all, that's goofy to me. Ashley later that morning goes to see Brent to see if everything is okay. He says he's okay and starting out his morning with a light workout. He wants to begin by apologizing to Ashley. I didn't mean to reflect that static between me and Brian towards you. She accepts his apology and says, I appreciate that. Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, the fellas want to know, how did the argument end? Lisa says they cooled out afterwards. Richie has to know, where did this cooling off take place? I'm just curious. Lisa says in his room. He needed to decompress. It was obviously a heated exchange. We continued a conversation and chilled over some drinks. Some of the ladies aren't too pleased about that information as it's written all over their faces. Lisa didn't see the issue, even with laughs. Maika says to production that after the disagreement last night, when it started to get late, everyone started to make their ways towards their rooms, while Jazzy and Brent were cuddled up real close. Brent didn't want to wake her up, but Maika was serious about waking her up. So she left and went upstairs, and that was that. Back in the room, Ashley shares that Maika came to her with some information. One of the ladies slept in his room last night. Maika even looked like she had been crying. Now, if Maika knows, then clearly now all of the other ladies know. Brent assures that nothing happened. Jazzy was on her side and he was on his. Everything was innocent. There wasn't even any spooning. He knows that in this process to find the one, if one person gets offended, then jealousy has to be the driving force with Maika. Ashley places herself in those shoes and argues both sides of how the ladies might feel about it, but Brent thinks that every woman should just focus on themselves. Kirk and Tammy want to check in with everyone as there are several things that happened last night. They want to get everyone back on track. Tammy checks in with Ashley and she confirms that there was a little heated back and forth between Brian and Brent. Although Brian never raised his voice, he never went towards Brent, and he handled himself very well. He even asked her if she felt unsafe and she said no. Those actions made her feeling towards Brian get even better. She was even turned on how well he conducted himself. Now Kirk wants to check in on Brent. Brent doesn't deny things got heated between him and Brian, and now he's shocked and disappointed that some of the ladies think that something went down in his room last night. Kirk feels that the pressure of the process might have creeped up on Brent just a little bit, and with all of the respect, as his little big brother, he's disappointed in Brent's actions last night. Now, Brent, we must rewrite the narrative to the ladies to make sure that everything runs smoothly moving forward. Brent understands now that it was a mistake of letting Jazzy sleep in his room. He wants to let the ladies know that he's serious about this process. He doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings or hurt the potential of a relationship. Kirk says that he had to come from a place of love and respect. Now Tammy keeps it real with Ashley that she did a little something herself with Matthew, right? They kissed. Ashley says that she didn't want to kiss him back, but she got caught up in the moment. She was very emotional and the kiss was amazing. I know that I have other men here and that I need to get to know them more. She feels like she portrayed the other guys. Tammy also heard about the concerns from Maika. Eliminations are coming and Brent and Ashley both have some things to think about when it comes to their actions. Kirk and Tammy go to the kitchen to address the group, this time a little switch up. Kirk will speak with the sisters and Tammy will chat with the fellas. Kirk and Tammy know that everyone has placed their lives on hold for this process, so no one wants to waste time. Kirk speaks with the ladies and informs that Jazzy is a live radio show host, so she's not present this morning to speak. He did hear the details of the things that happened last night and wants to help with some input as much as possible. Lisa wants to clarify a few things. It was Maika, Jazzy, and myself, and we pulled Brent away to try to de-escalate the situation between him and Brian. We all went in his room. Maika added that as the night went on, she noticed that Jazz was still asleep in his bed and suggested they wake her up, but Brent said he didn't want to wake her up. Maika felt disappointed more than hurt, while Ashley and Richie feel they will need more clarification concerning Brent's actions. Tammy wants the guys to express how they feel about everything that's happened and Ashley's behavior. Shavar feels that everything so far is good and Ashley is making certain moves to figure out what's good for her. The effort of everything is attractive. ADB agrees. She's opening herself up to connect more. Tammy says to production that some of the men such as ADB, Shavar, and Matthew are really placing their best foot forward to get to know Ashley, as some are kind of fading in the background like Dante and Steve. They need to step things up. I'm looking forward to see how everything unfolds. Richie jokes that they're either leaving with a man or some lessons from Kirk with them. The joke brings some much needed laughs in the room. Now it's time for some touch football and the excitement energy from everyone is back. It's time to take teams. With Ashley, it's Brian, Mika, ADB, and Maika. And with Brent, it's Richie, Lisa, Matthew, Shavar, Ashley, and Dante volunteers to be quarterback. The basic rules are don't let the other team get the ball and stop the other team from touching them with two hands. Brian catches the first catch, and it's obvious a lot of the ladies are confused, but everyone is having fun. Ashley says, I tried to give Dante some information about what plays he can run, and he just walked right by me. I took that as this guy isn't interested in me. But Addie B stepped in and gave me some pointers. Just get in the end zone and be ready to catch the ball. Now Ashley feels like ADB is showing her more attention. Britt notices how the ladies are having fun, and this activity was surely needed. Addie B and Ashley have a sit down and he's happy that they have some one-on-one time. He notes that he had to step back a little bit because he wanted to make sure she spent enough time with everyone. Him telling her that now all makes sense. She thought that he was becoming less interested. He was just waiting on the right time. He wants to make a toast to Ashley in finding him as the one. He knows that this process is probably rough for her and it takes some time to analyze everything. His father passed away in 2021 and he left behind legacies of emotions and learning how to treat people. His father was always big on being the better person. Ashley feels that her family has gotten better over time when it comes to communication. Addie B wants to know what is Ashley's type, and she likes guys who work out, but she knows that everybody can't be fit. It's not a forefront in her selection. When production asked Ashley if she thinks that Addie B is physically attractive, there's a long pause. And her only answer is, I don't know. I'm attracted to him mentally. Brent pulls Brian to the side to apologize for his actions. They were unacceptable. He didn't want to react like that, and he just wants to find the one. And he doesn't want to tear another brother down. Brent says that he can't even explain why he reacted the way he did or to pinpoint the driving force behind it. Brent says to production that I don't want any bad energy in the mansion and I want everything just to be okay. Brian apologizes as well. He says that when I said goofy ASS, I was referring to the situation in general, not Brent specifically, but it doesn't excuse the back and forth. Brent knows now that it was all a big misunderstanding, and from now on, they will be both cognitive of things they say. They dap it up and everything is squashed. It's elimination night, and Mika tells Jazzy things transpired while she left. Jazzy can't believe that since she left, she's been the topic of discussion. I literally fell asleep and just thought to myself, man, no one woke me up? Everyone has felt some type of way all day, and no one said anything to me. Now I look some type of way towards everybody. Mika describes that Maika was more emotional about it than everyone else did, and they should talk. She can go get her now. Jazzy is a bit hesitant to talk to her, but she just wants to clear the air. Maika says that she didn't feel angry towards her, just the situation. Jazzy says, I understand, but I'm grown and he's grown. There's no rules that say that we can't sleep in each other's rooms. So yeah, Micah says to production that I just don't feel like something's right. If you ask me, to keep it real, I think they slept together and they were very touchy-feely. Jazzy says to production that I don't think Maika was being sincere and I didn't come to make friends. It's elimination time and Kirk gives a shout out to everyone looking amazing, including his wife. Britt and Ashley are ready to discuss it all and this moment is all theirs. Ashley gets teary-eyed because she doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. All of the men are amazing. The first person that she chooses is Shavar. He makes her feel good and he's a great guy. The second guy is Brian. She says that how he behaved during conflicts was just amazing. Plus, he always stands by his word. Addie is selected, then Matthew. Although before he stands up, Ashley shares that they have had a connection, even sharing a kiss. She also doesn't want the other guys to feel that they don't have a shot just because of it. After she says that, you can tell that the men's energy has changed slightly, maybe even shifted. Brent selects Mika. She's been very intentional with trying to get to know him. Next chosen is Lisa, Richie, and Ashley. The remaining is Jazzy, Dante, Steve, and Maika. Kirk wants everyone to know that no matter what happens tonight, it's just a chapter in everyone's lives. Ashley holds back tears as she knows this selection is difficult. Steve really stepped up and helped concerning last night's static. He talked with both men to soothe the situation. From that, she picks Steve. When it came to Dante, he really didn't make any efforts to get to know her. Dante says that he's a laid-back, nonchalant type of guy, and maybe that came off wrong, but he's still hopeful to find someone special. Brent feels with Jazzy, them chilling last night was completely innocent, and they do share a connection. He also feels that if anybody has his back, he knows that it's Maika. But there's a few things to address. He did make a mistake in letting Jazzy sleep in his bed, although his mistake was exacerbated by Maika. With that being said, she will be leaving the mansion. Maika feels terrible that she didn't even have a conversation with Brent to express how she felt in that moment. She didn't even see him, so he must have avoided her. Brent feels that the source to a lot of the whispers and added drama was from Maika. Removing her would be eliminating the source. Maika has no respect for Brent after this, and now to her, he's an op. Kirk is a little shocked by the elimination and would love some insight concerning Brent's decision. Brent explains that she never came to me to discuss the situation. She went to everyone else instead, and it caused a lot of drama and negative insights on Jazzy. Kirk is still a little confused that there was a fire created by Brent, and he should have been a little bit more responsible. Brent disagrees. He feels that if I was the match to the fire, then Maika was the lighter fluid. Kirk says to production that it's not the fact that he let Maika go, it was just the spirit in which Brent had the conversation about the incident with others as well. Tammy feels that Ashley is placing great efforts for this process and she's getting close to her final selections. After eliminations, it's time to have some fun, food, and drinks. After a while, a conversation begins concerning Maika's elimination. Ashley feels Maika should have been given a chance to express her thoughts, while Brent and Jazzy feel that they should have went straight to the source. Why talk to everybody else except for Brent? Brian wants to add some food for thought. Are you grown? And Ashley feels that Brian now is raising his voice just a little. Now he's behaving in a way that he said that he never would, and Ashley leaves the room. She then goes into Matthew's room. Ashley can't believe it. She discussed all of that information with Brent and talking about being irresponsible and letting someone sleep in his room, and she turned around and did the exact same thing. Two adults in a dark room who are attracted to one another? Oof, it was inevitable. And that is the end of episode 8. Stay tuned for episode 9. After all of the drama, there's even more drama building as Brian gets into a little static with Jazzy. Meanwhile, Matthew and Ashley join for a nightcap. It's all very interesting and Tammy wants all the tea to keep spilling. Some chats are among the house, and Shavar was shocked that he was selected first. But Ashley tells him, Shavar, you're a vibe. Shavar feels that Dante was very qualified on paper, but him and Ashley shared a little more. Mika can't believe that she was picked first either. Brian knows Ashley has to make some decisions, and when him and Jazzy got into a little debate, Jazzy was just tripping and talking all loud. He just wants to spend more time with Ashley as he wants to share more sides of himself. Brent wants to start the day rebuilding relationships, but notices that Ashley isn't present. Brian even said that he wanted to check on her, but he noticed that she was in her room. Brian is concerned, and they even noticed that Matthew is not present, but Steve confirms that he left to go to his friend's funeral. Brent even notes that Ashley's disappearance is confusing, but he has something planned for the ladies. It's time for some stretching and calming the muscles. Brent wants that special someone that's in shape, and different exercise courses are fun. Plus, flexibility is great for your partner. After the session, Lisa requests some one-on-one time, and Brent is all game. Lisa loved how Brent was able to hold his composure with the heated argument between him and Brian. She also knows that he can go there if needed. She's one of 6 children from a single mom and has been the backbone of her family. She didn't go to college, and everything she has is due to all hustle. She wants a man who can hold her down as well. She doesn't ever want to be a burden to her man, but she wants to be able to confide in him, knowing that he will show up when needed. He understands where she's coming from, and they have a deep connection. After the conversation, she gently grabs his face for a kiss. Since Ashley is gone, the fellas are not sure what to do with themselves. There's no communication. Addie B even calls when there's a response, so he leaves a message just to check in. Later, Matthew returns to the mansion, but is surprised that Ashley is nowhere to be found. We found out that Ashley was overwhelmed by her actions and had to reset. She addresses the room. She wasn't eating or sleeping, so she went to stay with her parents for a bit. Steve says to production that she's so hard to read, and I don't know when she's being sincere. He wanted to address her, but didn't want to put her on the spot. Ashley apologizes to everyone and promises she won't do that again. Shavar wants her to know that he supports her no matter what, and Richie says, well, y'all were very upset yesterday. The men agree in unison that they were more concerned over angry or upset. Steve says that everyone is emotionally invested in this just as much as you are, Ashley, so yeah, I can say I was a little angry yesterday. He hasn't spent any alone time with her, so he's confused when she's nowhere to be found. Ashley feels really bad about everything, and Steve kindly asks her for some quality time. Before they begin, he wants to say a prayer for guidance and clarity. Now she wants to be honest. She went into Matthew's room last night and things almost got serious, and she regrets it. Steve clarifies that I don't want to judge you, I just want honesty. He notes to production that getting to know someone takes time, and what better way than for laughter and honesty. It's dinner with Brian, but Ashley still feels some type of way concerning the debate with Jazzy. Brian just felt that Jazzy is grown and she can do whatever she wants. Ashley feels that the debate with Jazzy made her feel unsafe now, and he just lays all the cards out on the table. Look, from this point on, I'm not having any more situations or debate with anyone else. And he even wants to pinky swear. Now she has some news to share. She kissed Matthew, and he has strong discipline when it comes to drinking, but Brian is confused. They took shots together the other day. He drank last night. Now Ashley feels betrayed, and she wants the truth from Matthew. It's a competition, and Brian could be lying. Jazzy and Brent play some pool, and she wants some lessons. She has no idea how to play. Brent even feels that the other women may be jealous of their connection. She's surely on the top of his selections. Although she does seem to hold back a lot when she expresses herself. He still doesn't like the idea of competing, plus there's still some energy from the ladies. He wants to get to know her, but she needs to let go of any reservations. Matthew surprises Ashley with flowers as they need to talk, and he wants to comfort her since she's been a little stressed. She needs to know the truth, and there are some things she's still trying to figure out. Matthew does share that he was a little upset that Ashley was gone and when he came back from the funeral. Plus, they shared something special last night. Is she being real with their connection? She wants to know flat out, have you been drinking? Someone placed some information in my ear, but I won't say who. He says that I haven't had any alcohol in this house since I've been here. I sit with the fellows while they drink, and I drink juice. There's flashback video showing that Matthew only pours juice. He says that I can only take a guess who that person was that said I was drinking. It was Brian. Ashley says to production that she wants proof and doesn't know who to believe. Later, it's a 70s party, and this party is so needed. The costumes are out of sight, and everyone shakes their groove thing. Even Kirk and Tammy join in on the fun, as they're 70s babies. Tammy and Kirk tell everyone that they're proud of such beautiful black excellence. Brent loves all of the ladies' costumes and knows tonight will be incredible. Matthew joins Brian for some small talk, and it might not be the best time, but he feels that it's the best time to talk as soon as possible. Matthew explains that he hasn't had any alcohol, and when someone handed him a drink, he didn't drink it. All he had was juice. Brian explains that if he puts a drink in front of him and you act like you're drinking it, I don't have the time to sit around to see if he swallows. Brian says to production that Matthew behaved as if he was tipsy, and that night you were acting like you were taking shots. I think he's lying. Brian continues with Matthew. If we're talking about honesty, you could have come to me to say that, hey, Ashley came to my room and we did this or that. Before any back and forth can continue, Matthew says, I don't want beef with you, man. I'm not an enemy. I just wanted to talk to you. Brian feels the same way. If Ashley is digging you, then it is what it is. That decision is up to her. Brian says to production that this guy is playing games for sure. He says and does things to get what he wants. Matthew says to production that I'm here for Ashley, and may the best man win. And hopefully that better man will be me. It's elimination night, and Kirk wants everyone to know that they look amazing, and so does his wife. Then he passes the floor to Brent. Brent's first selection to stay is Lisa. Before he can go to Jazzy, Jazzy says, I have something to say. She doesn't feel that this process is for her, and she's self-eliminating. She doesn't like competing against other women for a man's attention. Kirk is curious. She knew from the beginning what the process entailed, so what was the pivoting point for her? She thought that she would try a new way of dating, and she learned that this was overwhelming and just not for her, even though they did share a connection. Kirk says to production that it takes a lot of bravery for someone to change their mind and speak their opinion. And Tammy says, yeah, a woman can change her mind. She spoke up and was honest. Brent is surprised to see her go, but she made her decision. Jazzy says to production that there's a weight lifted off of my shoulders. I wasn't giving my all, and that's what Brent wants. The remaining ladies are Richie, Ashley, Mika, and Lisa. For Ashley, her selections to stay are Steve, Eddie B, Shavar, and now it's between Brian and Matthew. Ashley says to production that I'm not sure if Matthew was always telling me the truth, but it's something I can't put my finger on. Once again, Ashley is moved to tears. In front of everyone, this decision is difficult. She's afraid that Matthew is lying, but has a strong connection with him. The person who's staying in the mansion is Matthew. She feels like Brian is a wild card, and that she thought raising his voice with Jazzy threw her off. Brian says to production that if in life I confront someone or there's a debate and things are hand on, and I raise my voice a little bit or turn up, if she can't bear that, then she's not a ride or die for him. And that is the end of the episode. Stay tuned for episode 10.